Lee Scott's off tonight. First tonight, $56 billion budget for Illinois. That's what Governor Pritzker announced hours ago during the State of the State address.
There is little new spending. However, Pritzker proposed a new tax on social media companies and a pause on tax breaks for new data centers.
Representatives is live in the newsroom. Brett, one of the governor's themes today was affordability.
And we certainly heard it on both sides today. This is all about trying to address rising demand to the electric grid, as well as what we continue to hear from our viewers, which is that their energy bills keep going up with no end in sight. So Governor J.B. Pritzker said PJM, which is one of our regional grid operators, has to force companies that build data centers to pay for their own capacity resources. That way you won't be stuck with those higher bills. The governor said both PJM and MISO, which is the other grid operator, have agreed to speed up construction on bringing renewable energy projects online. And he also talked about another energy solution, which is about adding more to the supply and lowering your bills. So this comes after the governor signed the Clean and Reliable Grid Affordability Act back in January.
That opened up the possibility and the door for construction of new modern reactors that can help us keep our clean energy leadership and create new jobs. The economic opportunity of building new clean power is enormous. So today I've issued an executive order designed to speed up building new clean nuclear power so that we can increase our electricity supply and secure our energy future.
Now, we also heard from some Republicans like Ted Dabrowski and Darren Bailey, who are running for governor. They blame Pritzker for the affordability problem, pointing to high property taxes, people moving out of Illinois, and even pointed to his policies for why energy bills are so high.
At a time when other states are competing aggressively for investment, this is what we listen to today. Illinois doesn't have a revenue problem. Illinois has a spending problem, and Illinois has a priorities problem.
His CEJA bill, which requires 30% renewables by 2040 and 40%, I said it wrong, 40% by 2030 and 100% by 2045, we are outpacing the ability to create energy here because we're cutting down our baseload energy.
So going back to what the governor was talking about with grid operator PJM, he said he, along with 12 other governors in the region, negotiated a price cap on energy bills to the year 2030. So that cost is specifically tied to the wholesale market, which is then distributed to various utility companies.
So, Brett, will the deal with those grid operators help people immediately with those high energy bills?
It doesn't look like that's the case. So this is more of a long-term solution, and there's still some limited information on how all this is going to work. So certainly this is a story that we're going to be following. But, you know, the regulatory boards are still approving or denying any utility price hikes. It's something that we've covered here on Fox Chicago, and it's just another reason why all of our viewers out there need to stay engaged in the civic process.
All right, Brett, thank you so much. Well, Emily, I think a lot of heaters got a break today. Maybe open the windows. This fake spring is pretty nice, but she's about to be gone.
Yeah, she is about to be gone. That's right. So going into tomorrow, actually, that's going to be the day that we start to see and feel some changes. So we're going to have slightly cooler air in place tomorrow, but then the temps are really going to drop off by the end of the week. Here's a look at our wind alerts that we have to tell you about. So we do have a wind advisory that's remaining in effect near and north of I-88, lasting until 6 p.m. That's for west-southwesterly winds gusting as high as 45 to 50 miles per hour. And then also a fire weather warning remaining in effect for all of northeastern Illinois, lasting until 8 p.m., just in combination with those high winds, the really dry air mass that we have in place. So any outdoor burning is strongly, strongly discouraged. Then looking ahead to tomorrow, we have a storm system coming through. So strong to severe thunderstorms are going to be possible, mainly in the afternoon and evening. All hazards could be possible. Those details and the timing coming up.
Thanks, Emily. Just a day after saying their goodbyes, Reverend Jesse Jackson's family gathered in South Shore.
They talked about their dad, what he stood for and what he fought for, also what he meant to the world.
His soul is freed to be with our mighty ancestors. His remains left to be honored and remembered.
Reverend Jesse Jackson died at home Tuesday with his children by his side. Wednesday, Santita, Jonathan, Jesse, Yusuf, and Ashley stood together, showing what it means to lose someone so public, so personal.
We started in the food line here in Chicago, and the church,
yes,
the church was there. And so when he leaves out on the slogan of, I am somebody, that's a call for your own self-dignity.
Jackson got his start early, 17, fighting for a library card. He won, kept pushing civil rights, voting rights, schools, health care. His biggest mentor stepped in when he chose faith over law school.
There is no one who's been more faithful to the mission of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King than Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr.
His message passed from one generation to the next. The call for dignity, equality, and action didn't stop with him. It became the work of his children.
We are urgently called to continue discourse and to remain in conversation because our proximity is what's going to keep us moving forward in this time. He's always been proximal to all of you, proximal to all of us, and that's the work that our generation is required to do moving forward.
The family thanked everyone for the tributes from neighbors, President Trump, former Presidents Biden and Obama, but they are asking for something simple.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services. Come respectful and come to say thank you.
The family hasn't shared homegoing service plans yet. When they do, we will let you know on our website.
Well, it is round 3 tonight in our Chicago Report debates.
I feel like we should hear the boxing ring bells. Political reporter Paris Schutz is here. Paris, tonight you have the candidates for Cook County Assessor. What do you expect?
Yeah, or the old Monday Night Football helmets, you know, slamming into each other. So tonight is Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi and his challenger Pat Hines. This is a very closely contested race. And Kagi is the incumbent. He's gotten some ire from business owners who feel that their property taxes are too high. And here's the thing, the assessor's office is the office that sets those property values that then your tax rates are based on. And there's a lot that goes into this, and there's a lot of contention around how that gets done. So we expect this to be a very lively debate tonight. And maybe not as lively as last night with the Cook County Board President candidates, Preckwinkle and Brendan Riley. But we're going to get into a lot of things, you know, namely why this last cycle of property tax assessments is the highest. 16% homeowners' residential property taxes went up. It's the largest median hike in 30 years. So there's a lot of questions as to why that happened, and I think we're looking at some footage here of what we talked about last night. So there's the Cook County Board Presidents, Preckwinkle, and then 42nd Ward Alderman Brendan Riley clashing over things like that loop burning of Bethany McGee because it touches so many policy issues in the county. Electronic monitoring, the court system, the criminal justice system, and they both had very different answers on that. That one's on our website if you want to go take a look at that. So tonight, 6 p.m., just under an hour, we've got the 2 candidates for assessor, and we're looking forward to it.
And I applaud you for letting them, you know, there was some over talking or talking over each other, but I applaud you for letting them do that because that's honestly how you get to see who someone really is.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of I wanted to let them kind of give them a lot of leeway to just like you said, show us who they are, and you know, sometimes maybe some of their character comes out if they're yelling or insulting,
talking over, right?
Yeah, talking over. But it also is, you know, I like seeing the fire because I think the fire was all over these issues. I mean, these 2 candidates differ on these issues. The fire isn't about I don't like you as a person. The fire is we have very different approaches to the issues of how do we solve crime in Cook County, the jail system, healthcare, immigration, and that's where you saw taxes, and that's where you saw them talking over each other. So, you know, we'll see. Well, I reserve the right to jump in and try to be traffic cop, but we'll see how it goes tonight.
Well, we're enjoying it. It keeps us engaged.
Yes,
that matters too.
And hopefully, we just want the viewers and the voters to have an idea of what they're facing. That's all.
And I'm only a couple desks away if you need a mediator.
Yeah, or a commentator, Terrence.
I got you.
All right, Paris.
All right.
Okay, we need to remind you, too, you can vote early in downtown Chicago. The new super site at State and Adams is open. So is the Cook County Admin Building. That's on Washington. More than 950 ballots have been cast so far. More than 4,100 mail-in ballots have been received, too. Citywide early voting will expand 2 sites in all 50 wards March 2nd.
More than 60 years ago, the CTA promised it was going to extend the red line on the far south side. Tonight, We are learning the agency is going to finally break ground in the spring. The project is a nearly 6-mile extension from 95th Street Terminal to 130th Street. It adds 4 new stations. There are some community meetings happening next month, the first March 10th. You can register on the CTA's website. And still ahead on the news at 5, the federal government cracking down on certain licenses in Illinois.
Plus, it could be a major change to one of the state's drunk driving laws.
And car washes all over Illinois and Indiana were packed today after that dirty rain caked cars.
See me riding dirty.
Facts.
Of the stand. For the first time this year, measles case has been reported in Illinois. It's not in our area. Health officials say it was confirmed in Collinsville. That's near St. Louis. It is an adult who has the virus. The Illinois Department of Health says the person recently traveled out of state. Experts say you shouldn't panic over this one case, but it is a good reminder to get vaccinated.
The vaccine rates in our state are falling from measles. That's something that we're seeing across the country. And unfortunately, with lower vaccine rates, we see higher rates of measles. Measles is so very contagious that being in a room that someone else was in, even if they're not there anymore, is enough to cause an exposure.
A good reminder, across the country, the CDC says there have been more than 900 confirmed cases this year alone. That's the third most cases in a single year since '93.
Illinois is being warned to fix its commercial driver's license program or lose millions of dollars. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration sent a letter to Governor Pritzker today outlining their findings. They allege the state illegally issued CDLs to non-citizens or non-permanent residents who live in the state. But the letter says out of the 10,000 CDLs issued, the administration only sampled 150 and found 29 were non-compliant. Still, it says if the state doesn't fix it, it will lose up to $128 million in federal highway funding.
We're asking them to give us 30 days to work with us along with our investigation so we can see progress, but they need to stop issuing the non-domiciled CDLs. But if they do not become compliant, they do are looking at ways, or we will look at ways to, defund their program. And to start off with, that would be a 4% of their highway funds, which should equal about $64 million.
Okay, so
but we do want to continue to work with them. We want to make sure that this is about safety.
The U.S. Department of Transportation wants Illinois to revoke or reissue all non-compliant CDLs and do their own audit to check for errors. Illinois was not the only state audited, by the way. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias has already responded and condemned the administration's, quote, assertions regarding the state's past handling of non-domicile commercial driver's licenses. Right now in Illinois, you can drive if your blood alcohol concentration is below 0.08. But lawmakers are considering a big change. There is a bill that will lower the limit for a DUI to 0.05. The standard blood alcohol charts show people under 140 pounds reach that limit after one drink. If you weigh more than 160, it takes about 2. Utah is the only other state that has that lower limit.
Are boneless wings just fancy chicken nuggets? Either way, a judge rules in favor of Buffalo Wild Wings, allowing that chain to keep boneless chicken on the menu. A man filed a lawsuit back in 2023 claiming violations of the Illinois Consumer Fraud Act over buffalo dips, calling them boneless wings instead of chicken nuggets. Sound like a 5-year-old. A U.S. district judge decided there wasn't enough meat on the bones for his argument.
I think I want you to read that script again. Can you? It was exciting.
I know Emily has an opinion on boneless.
I always have an opinion on boneless.
Well, I know
remember.
Emily puts ranch on everything, too.
Yes, ranch is a dip. It is not a dressing. I'm very specific on that.
Facts. I agree with you on that.
Yes. All right, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the weather department here, because not only are we dealing with high winds today, but tomorrow we're turning our attention over to storm potential. So we have a risk of thunderstorms tomorrow, especially during the late afternoon into the evening hours. The Storm Prediction Center has large portions of the area in a marginal risk. You can see that highlighted in green here, but then southern Newton and Jasper counties, we actually have a slight risk. That's a level 2 of 5, which means scattered severe thunderstorms are going to be possible. But here's the deal. We need everything to come together just perfectly tomorrow. Otherwise, this is just going to turn out to be a dud. So let's go ahead and we'll time things out for you here. Futurecast rolling us into early tomorrow morning. We're waking up in the upper 30s to low 40s. We'll see increasing cloud cover through the day. And then here comes that chance of seeing some showers, couple thunderstorms late afternoon into the evening hours. And again, it's very much on an isolated basis. Not everyone is going to be experiencing those storms tomorrow. 5-day forecast, 56 degrees on Thursday. Then we have falling temps on Friday, a chance of rain, maybe even a couple snow showers too. Dry skies over the weekend. Temps are going to be in the 30s. Dawn.
Thank you, Emily. Today marks the beginning of Lent and Ash Wednesday, and millions of Christians around the world will observe the day, which is intended for fasting, prayer, and reflection. Today, Pope Leo XIV oversaw his first Ash Wednesday ceremony in Rome as leader of the Catholic Church. The Mass was at Aventine Hill, where popes have been coming to for Ash Wednesday services for centuries. And this morning, the priests and president at St. Ignatius College Prep distributed ashes to parents and guardians as they dropped off their kids at school. The school's president talked about the significance of Ash Wednesday.
We mark this day by inscribing the foreheads of Christian believers with the ashes to remind us that we were created from dust at the dawn of creation and that we will return to dust at the end of our lives. The season of Lent is an important time for Christians as we mark a time of renewal and expectation of the mysteries of our salvation.
Ashes were also distributed at CTA and metro stations today.
Well, this Ash Wednesday, some faith leaders got to go inside the Broadview ICE Detention Center for the first time in a while.
Leslie Moreno is there. Fill us in on what's going on, Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. And those 3 faith leaders walked into the detention center to offer ashes and communion to those who are detained here at the facility. They spent a total of about 2 hours. We're told 4 detainees rather, received ashes, as well as 3 members of the facility's staff. They first initially gathered here outside the facility where they sang and prayed. Before walking inside, they were accompanied by 2 police officers. leaders. The Department of Homeland Security granted access after a federal judge ordered the agency to allow religious visits inside the facility. The Coalition for Spiritual and Public Leadership says they're grateful for the access and hopes it will lead to continued pastoral care for people being held there. Faith leaders say the service is meant to highlight what they call a moral crisis inside detention centers and to show solidarity with immigrant communities. For Catholics, Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of Lent, a sacred season of prayer and reflection. And tonight we heard from the two priests and the nun who were inside the facility. They say staff were very accommodating to their request. Take a listen to what they had to say about the experience.
This is the body of Christ, bringing the body of Christ to the body of Christ. And in this moment, that body is broken and it's hurting. And I feel as if, in a certain sense, society, representing a society with dirty hands, actually asking for the forgiveness of those who are being detained, as opposed to encouraging them to repent and of their sins. And that is an ongoing task. And our hope is that this is the beginning moment for ongoing pastoral care and prayer and presence with those who are going through the processing center.
Following this event here, we're told church leaders are headed to Melrose Park, where Cardinal Blaise Cupich will be hosting and leading an outdoor Ash Wednesday Mass. We're told families and loved ones who have someone detained at a facility or have been deported will be there, as well as other organizations and advocates and community members. We'll have all those details on foxchicago.com. For now, reporting live here in Broadview, Les Moreno, Fox Chicago.
Today is also the first day of Ramadan for Muslims. It's rare these holy days overlap. Ramadan is a time to increase worship, charity, and reflection. Muslims abstain from all food, drink, and other indulgences from dawn to sunset every day as a practice of self-restraint and gratitude. The holy month of fasting ends around March 20th with the celebration of Eid al-Fitr.
Across America is next. We'll take you to Connecticut, where a flock of turkeys terrorize a UPS delivery driver.
This might be the smallest wheelchair ever. Check it out. I will tell you how it's helping a goldfish swimming. Just keep swimming.
approve this message.
It has been 18 days since the investigation to find Nancy Guthrie started.
And as far as we know, the sheriff does not have a suspect, a motive, or a name to go with collected DNA. A sample from gloves found 2 miles away from Nancy's home did not trigger a match in the FBI's database. And officials say it also did not match DNA found on the property. But the sheriff says investigators are still focused on one sample found inside the home, saying it could be the most critical piece of evidence yet.
We have DNA from that scene that is a mixture of DNAs. So we have to separate, hope the lab can do that, and still preserve some of that evidence.
The sheriff says at this point it's still unclear exactly how long it will take to test and process that sample.
A tragic end to the search for missing skiers in backcountry near Lake Tahoe. 8 have been found dead. Crews are still looking for one more person. The avalanche happened yesterday morning. 4 guides with 11 clients were returning from a 3-day winter camping trip at a popular lodge. 6 survivors were sheltered in place while also searching for their teammates. Experts estimate the avalanche that overtook the group was approximately a football field in size.
Wow, a doorbell camera catches the terrifying moment a truck soared through the air and smashed into that Oregon home.
Dang.
Police say the driver was speeding and driving recklessly. The family inside not hurt. The man driving the truck and his passenger had minor injuries.
A woman in New Hampshire lends a helping fin to her goldfish. She created a tiny floating harness for Mr. Sue. The goldfish is recovering from an illness. It's too weak to swim. The little wheelchair of sorts keeps the fish from sinking to the bottom of the tank and works on building up its strength again.
I'm 4 years old. I can't deal with this. Hold on.
I've probably watched this 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a UPS driver's morning route in Connecticut turned into a turkey trot. Check it out, running door to door, trying to dodge the birds, he is. The person who took the video says they thought their neighbors were fighting, but realized it was the delivery driver fighting off the turkeys. See him run. They say the turkeys are always there driving people crazy. After the driver drops the last package, he yells, "Deuces!" then sprints back to his van with turkeys in tow.
At one point, he says, "I'm 40. I can't keep running like this."
Yeah.
Same, bruh, same. A police officer in Burbank, California is going viral tonight. This is Officer Parks. During a recent call for service, he was greeted by 2 lovely Frenchies. The department says he couldn't resist petting and holding and taking a photo with them. Well, the comments are going crazy. Here's some of them. "Ain't nobody looking at that cat. I identify as a dog if Officer Park wants pick me up too. And I stole $2,000 worth of items from Target. I dare you to arrest me. I'm in the parking lot by the 3rd light post towards the back next to the plaque."
Yeah, that's a nice looking man. Yeah. Yep. Well, after more than 60 years, Fort Heights has a sit-down restaurant.
And Aurora is trying to make it easier for people buying homes there. Come on back.
Illinois.
Now at the bottom of the hour, helping home buyers. We'll tell you about the new program just launched in Aurora.
We continue remembering Reverend Jesse Jackson tonight with a look back at his runs for the Oval Office.
Did it rain dirt last night? A lot of people are wondering that after waking up to a filthy car.
First, the race for Cook County, where President is heating up. The candidates sparred during our debate last night about Mayor Johnson.
President Tony Preckwinkle gave a surprising response when asked about Mayor Johnson. And today, the mayor commented. Joni Lam live at City Hall tonight. Joni.
These debates are making news. President Tony Preckwinkle and Alderman Brendan Riley, they got into a fiery discussion on the Chicago Report debate last night. He is challenging her for that powerful position, and he repeatedly connected Preckwinkle to Mayor Brandon Johnson, saying she is responsible for his administration and any issues that come with that. The candidates joined Our Parish Shuts for a lively discussion on Fox Chicago. Tony Preckwinkle in the past endorsed Brandon Johnson for Cook County Commissioner and for mayor when he ran against incumbent Lori Lightfoot and Paul Vallis in 2023. Riley said Preckwinkle should have stayed out of that race. Paris asked her directly if she would endorse Mayor Johnson for re-election. Her response, unexpected. And today, I asked Mayor Johnson what he thought.
You know, I'm focused on the county board race. And, you know, I think that Brendan Riley, if he's running for this job, ought to be focused on the county board race, too.
I think she should focus on her own re-election. That would make sense.
Brendan Riley seems to be making it part of his platform, criticism of your administration. How do you react to that?
Sounds like he doesn't have much of a platform then.
So she didn't offer an endorsement. Mayor Johnson added he thinks that Alderman Riley has a narrow view of Chicago. So these debates, they continue on Fox Chicago tonight at 6. The candidates for Cook County Assessor. Of course, the primary election, March 17th. At City Hall, Joni Lam, Fox Chicago.
Since the passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson, many people have come forward to talk about the impact he had on their life, not just here in Chicago, but across the country, too.
And one of those is a Chicagoan who worked closely with him throughout his career. Sylvia Perez joins us now with more. Sylvia.
Yeah, T and Don, Hermine Hartman is a well-known Chicagoan in her own right, creating Indigo magazine and coordinating the Black Expo. She started working with Jesse Jackson during the civil rights era when she was just in high school at Operation Breadbasket. Operation Breadbasket began as a job placement agency for Black Americans, and Hartman was also at Jackson's side for both of his presidential campaign runs. She remembers Jackson telling her he was going to run and how it was a grassroots effort that had a huge impact during his second run in 1988.
88 was magnificent, and it just blew. It just went. It was very successful. Points made. It was just wonderful. Had we lived in today, if 88 could have been 2026, I think Reverend would have won, because with social media, we would have had another control factor, another communication factor, and Jesse would be so right for social media until I think it could have been influential. He made a lot of strides. As you know, he changed the political landscape of America.
Hartman says a Harvard professor kept track of Jackson's impact and found that he registered more people to vote than any other single person in the history of America, making it hard for anyone to follow in his footsteps.
We will miss him. We loved him. We will miss the Jackson touch. We will miss his political analysis. Jesse was quite the political analyst. We will miss his interpretation. But I say that with a heavy heart. But at the same time, and this is what he would say, appreciate his life, respect his life, and follow suit.
So how do you follow suit? Hermine says the best way to honor Jackson, be an agent of change, do what's right, and help others keep hope alive. T?
The city of Aurora is trying to make buying a home easier. The city just launched the Home Buyer Assistant program. It offers up to $20,000 in a 0% interest deferred loan. You can also get up to $5,000 closing grant and $2,000 for repairs. The program is available for anyone who is at or below 120% of the area's median income. You may have woken up this morning to find your car just dingy, dirty, and dusty.
Mother Nature poured dirty rain across the area last night. Casey Cronus is live in West Town to explain all this. Casey.
Hi, Don and Terrence. We'll break it down in just a moment, but first, the cleanup. This may have been a nuisance for drivers, some who waited more than an hour in line, but car washes were cashing in. As soon as the garage doors opened, long lines started forming at car washes across the city and suburbs, including Riverview Hand Car Wash on Clybourne, where beautiful weather typically drives traffic. But in this case, it was all that dust.
I seen it rained a little bit earlier, and then when I got up today, I was surprised to see all this dust on it. I don't even know what this dust is. I really thought it'd just be wet or something, but it looks like mud.
Similarly, at Burt's Car Wash near Ogden and Grand, a steady line down the block kept employees busy all day long.
A lot of customers complain about, that kind of dirt in top of the car. So I think so happened after the rain last night, right? Yeah, that's the bigger complaint everybody say today, because we are regular customer over here. They come so often, but right now everybody complain about the specific that.
The soot that blanketed cars overnight came after a perfect storm.
It's almost as if you were washing soot off of a chimney. The rain just pulls all of that soot out of the air, and it comes right down in people's cars, and then they have to go to the car wash.
Clinical Assistant Professor Matthew Rowling from Northwestern Kellogg explains.
So the fire is very intense, and it's sending soot and smoke high up into the atmosphere. There's heat underneath it pushing it up.
He says those wildfires across the plains met with high southeasterly winds, which picked up dust and debris. Then the rain trapped those particles, sending them back down to the ground, or in this case, on our cars.
The soot that's coming down in the rain on your car isn't going to hurt anything. But when you're inhaling particulate matter from something like a wildfire, like the ones we had, the smoke coming down from Canada a few years back, that is actually very harmful for human health.
Right now, the air quality in Chicago is listed as good, but you may remember that wildfire smoke from Canada in years past made it difficult to breathe. Reporting live in West Town, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
Let's check in with Emily. Will we have more of this dirty rain?
Well, it's certainly going to be a possibility because we have to track where our next storm system is coming from, and that's coming in from the southwest. We've had those gusty winds again today, but also, as you were just hearing from Casey, we have those wildfires in places like Oklahoma that are still contributing to that ash and the dust that's in the atmosphere. So we could end up seeing a little bit more of that dirty rain tomorrow as another storm system moves through. Here's a look at what we're dealing with tonight. We have a wind advisory that is set to expire at 6 p.m. near and north of I-88. It's been a very, very windy day, and because of that, in combination with the really low relative humidity we've had, we have a fire weather warning that is remaining in effect for all of northeastern Illinois because outdoor burning is strongly discouraged. We have the perfect recipe out there this afternoon and evening for wildfires to spread. Your temperatures right now sitting in the upper 50s to low 60s. It is very, very mild, and tonight we're only dropping down to about 40. We'll have southwesterly winds 5 to 15 miles per hour, and then tomorrow all attention is going to be turning over to showers and thunderstorms. So we'll see increasing cloud cover in the morning. I think your morning commute's going to be just fine, but by mid to late afternoon we're going to start to see some showers and thunderstorms firing up, some of which, by the way, could potentially become strong or severe. So make sure you have ways of getting those severe weather alerts on Thursday. And then Friday, falling temperatures, rain, possibly some snow. And then we are in the 30s for the weekend. Dawn.
Thanks, Emily. For the first time in more than 6 decades, there is a dine-in restaurant in Ford Heights. This week, local chain S2 Grills opened at 801 East Lincoln Highway. There are comfort food classics and also some globally inspired dishes. We spoke with one of the founders on Chicago Live, and he tells us the opening sticks with their motto, "We love to serve underserved areas." But he says some people tried talking them out of opening in Ford Heights.
they didn't think that the community or the neighborhood we would be able to sustain. But we're out to prove them differently, and so far we've got a great response from the residents. Even when we were doing construction, the residents were stopping by every day, thanking us so much, and can't wait till we get open. So it's no doubt in my mind that we will thrive there and do well.
This is the 10th restaurant the owners have opened in the Chicago area since 2017.
I'm Tina Lynn. Next in sports, Blackhawks return to the ice for the first time during the Olympic break. I go one-on-one with Connor Bedard. Plus, Max Crosby had a really special guest on his podcast, and it was Bears quarterback Caleb Williams. Hear from them both next in sports.
For the content of this ad.
Blackhawks return to the ice during the Olympic break.
But first, rumors swirling after Caleb Williams' podcast appearance. Tina, here with more.
Yeah, guys, the pot is being stirred with Bears quarterback Caleb Williams appearing on Max Crosby's podcast, The Rush, released last night. The timing couldn't have been more perfect as conversations continue to heat up on whether or not Crosby will remain a Raider. But both players giving each other their flowers on his podcast. Take a listen.
It takes one to know one. Like I'm a different cat.
Yeah.
I operate different.
Yeah.
People think I'm out of my mind half the time. I'm, you know what I mean? I would tat it on my neck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I like what I like. I do what I do. I'm a little bit different.
Yeah.
You're a different cat. Respect.
Yeah.
At a different level, bro. You're one of those guys for sure, and you're just getting started.
Yep.
You know, I don't even know you understand yet how good you can be.
Yeah.
And that's the scariest part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just keep that mindset. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, we're locked in.
Well, Crosby, or Mad Max, as they call him, drafted by the Raiders in the 4th round in 2019, has spent 7 seasons there, and he's only been a part of 1 winning season in 2021. The 28-year-old has recorded multiple double-digit sack seasons. Despite his production, he's had 8 surgeries in 7 years. Vinny Bonsignora of the California Post, who has been covering the Raiders for 7 seasons, joined us earlier today, providing more context to his situation.
Look, he's going to be 29 years old at the start of next season. There's only a finite amount of years these guys have to be at their peak level. And, you know, when you think of it along those terms, I think it's more of a timeline issue. And it's just these constant stops and starts and restarts and resets. And I think he's kind of got to the point of his career where, do I really want to put my time into another reset when I look at how many years I have left at peak football? And I want to be able to go someplace where those peak years can be put to good use. He sees all of his friends hoisting Vince Lombardi trophies and playing on the biggest stages. And I think he wants a part of that. He has to figure out if that's going to happen in Las Vegas before his peak years are behind him.
All right, more from Vinny with Cassie Carlson and myself. Jesse Rogers also joins us from Arizona to give us the latest on spring training on the Cubs and the White Sox. Watch at 7 p.m. on the Fox local app and at 10 p.m. right here on Fox Chicago. Blackhawks resume full practice today. Back from the Winter Olympic break, head coach Jeff Blashill called this a mini training camp for the team. Connor Bedard back to taking face-off after sustaining an injury on December 12th against the Blues during a face-off play on the final seconds. The 20-year-old sustained a right shoulder injury, resulting in him missing 13 games. Blashill said the plan has been for him to get back to taking face-offs after the Olympic break. I got the chance to catch up with Connor Bedard earlier today as he looks to get back to form after this break.
I'm not too worried. You know, I think I had a lot of games after coming back from injury that were good. I had some that weren't so good, but just finding that consistency again. But I'm not overly worried about that. Just kind of play my game, and you know, I know what I'm capable of and what our team's capable of.
For the full interview with Connor Bedard, head on over to our YouTube page at Fox 32 Chicago. Team USA men's hockey advances to the semifinal after defeating Sweden 3-2 in overtime. Illinois, DePaul, and Northwestern hoops all in action tonight. Terrence and Dawn, back to you guys.
Tina, quick question. NBA All-Star break, that ends tomorrow?
Yes, teams are already back at practice. The Bulls, they were back today. They will play a home game tomorrow. So everyone is already back in action.
Let's go.
A different roster, by the way. Different roster. A lot of new faces.
Oh, yeah, right.
The trade deadline.
Yeah, all right, thank you. The classic fake spring is on its last leg. It's only getting colder from here.
But first, we'll have to deal with some rain. Emily has her full forecast after the break.
me up. Oh, we back. You almost caught me. I was releasing.
About how great the weather is, Terry.
Yeah. That's going away, though, pretty soon, right? We're dropping.
Yes, so we have some pretty big changes ahead here in the next couple of days, and it's all coming down to a storm system that's sweeping through tomorrow that's going to bring in that colder air mass for us by the end of this week and then certainly going into this upcoming weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at our high temperatures today. It was a gorgeous day. Yes, very windy, but it was very warm. 63 was the high temperature at O'Hare, 66 in Gary, 64 in Chicago Heights, made it to 61 in Woodstock, same thing in Waukegan, and 63 degrees in Aurora. Here's what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. So the Storm Prediction Center has the majority of our area highlighted in this green shading here. That's a marginal risk, which is a level 1 of 5. So it's a low-end severe weather risk, but nonetheless, we still have to pay attention to it because if everything comes together just right, we could have all hazards being possible. That's damaging wind gusts, hail, and maybe even an isolated tornado or two. And for those of you in southern Newton and Jasper counties, you can see that you're highlighted in this yellow shading here. That is a slight risk. That's a level 2 of 5. So the risk will start to increase the further south that you go of the Chicagoland area. Futurecast, let's go ahead and we'll time things out for you. Tonight, things are fine. We're going to have a very nice overnight, and the winds, those are going to be dying down as well. Tomorrow morning, your morning commute is fine. Don't worry about it. But by midday into the afternoon, we're going to start to see scattered showers, a couple thunderstorms developing. And if we do see any storms become strong or severe, it's not going to be until the late afternoon into the evening hours with this finely little push that you can see coming through along with that low pressure system. And then notice by Friday, totally different story here. We're going to be cold enough that we could have some snow mixing in with some rain showers for your morning commute. It doesn't look like anything too heavy, but still a dusting could be possible, especially near the Wisconsin state line on Friday morning. After that, we're going to dry things out. And then going into your Friday night, if you have plans, things look pretty good. We'll start to see decreasing cloud cover going into your weekend. For tonight, 40 degrees. We'll have winds dying down to only 5 to 15 miles per hour. And again, that wind advisory that is about to expire in just about 7 minutes or so. Your 7-day forecast tomorrow, 56, 46 on Friday, but that high of 46, that's going to be set in the morning. And then we actually drop into the 30s during the day. We're in the 30s over the weekend, and we have a chance of lake effect snow for northwest Indiana on Sunday.
All right, we'll be right back. Finally tonight, a sweet 6-month-old macaque monkey named Punch is stealing hearts online.
This is him, his best friend as well, a stuffed monkey.
I can't.
Zookeepers in Japan gave it to him to act as his surrogate mom after he was rejected by his mother. And now he drags it almost everywhere. Look,
Aww.
Even cuddling with it to sleep. Oddly enough, that stuffed animal is actually an orangutan. And don't worry, Punch isn't all alone. Despite the issues with his mother, the zoo says he has been accepted by the other monkeys in his troop.
Just dragging him along.
Oh.
All right, thanks for joining us at 5.
Now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Our third Chicago Report debate is next. We have the Cook County Assessor candidates.
Dawn and Brett will see you back here for the news at 9.